Let me ask you something. Name one crypto project that actually got Walmart, BMW, and PwC to use its blockchain for real business operations. Not a pilot, not a press release, actual live deployment. Most of you just went quiet, because there aren't many. But VeChain is one of them. And right now, and right now, while the broader market is bleeding and most altcoins are having an identity crisis, VeChain just dropped a set of staking numbers that made me sit up straight in my chair. Active stakers up nearly 94% in 13 weeks, Vtho emissions cut in half, and a staking platform holding 10.7 billion VET locked inside it. So why is VET still sitting at less than a cent? That's exactly what we're unpacking today. What is good, everybody? What is that sign? You are tuned into TJ Crypto World, the channel where we cut through the noise, skip the hype, and give you the kind of breakdown that actually helps you understand what's moving in crypto and why. I'm TJ, and today we are talking VeChain. Specifically, the Stargate staking platform and what 3 months of post-Hayabusa fork data is telling us about where this project is actually headed. This is not a hype video, this is an analysis video, and if you stay till the end, you're going to walk away with a clearer picture of VeChain than 90% of people commenting in crypto forums right now. Let's get into it. Before we get into the staking numbers, the tokenomics shift, and what the price chart is actually saying, I need to flag something that most VeChain coverage is completely skipping over. 4 out of 5 VeChain NFTs are now delegated. At launch it was 1 and 2. That sounds like a small, technical detail. But when you understand what delegation means for Vtho rewards, and who gets left out when they don't delegate, you start to understand why the whole supply dynamic of this token just changed in a way that most investors haven't priced in yet. We will get there. Keep watching. To understand what Stargate is doing, you need to understand what the Hayabusa fork was designed to fix. Before December 2025, VeChain operated on a passive generation model. Hold VET, automatically earn Vtho. Simple, but also problematic, because it meant the network was constantly producing tokens regardless of whether the network was being used or not. Roughly 13.67 billion Vtho were generated every single year under that model. That kind of unchecked emission is a slow poison for token value. It inflates supply, dilutes holders, and makes the token harder to appreciate in price even when the underlying technology is actually being adopted. The Stargate platform, launched in December 2025, was the answer. And 3 months later, according to a report by James M. Gathicha published March 12, 2026, the results are measurable. Annual Vtho emissions have dropped from 13.67 billion to 7.3 billion, a 50.2% reduction. That is not a rounding error. That is a fundamental restructuring of the supply side of this token economy. Let's talk about the locked VET figures, because this is where the story gets genuinely interesting. Stargate currently holds 10.7 billion VET locked inside the platform. Of that total, 5.9 billion VET, roughly 45.5%, sits in delegated stake. Another 3.2 billion sits in validator stake. And undelegated VET has dropped from 2.9 billion at launch to just 1.6 billion by March 3, 2026. That movement from undelegated to delegated is not accidental. The platform introduced a rule that only delegated VET earns bonus Vtho. The moment that rule landed, users made a rational decision: delegate or miss out, and that behavioral shift is now reflected in the data. Active stakers increased by 93.9% over 13 weeks. This is what properly designed token incentives look like when they work. You do not need to force people to participate. You just need to make non-participation economically unattractive. VeChain did exactly that. Here is the piece of this story that I think is most underreported right now. VeChain introduced new entry-level node tiers, Dawn, Flash, and Lightning, specifically to lower the barrier for smaller holders who previously could not afford to participate in meaningful staking. Since launch, 16,204 new Stargate NFTs have been minted across these tiers. Dawn alone accounted for 8,600 of those mints. According to community analyst and ex-user Arshan India, posting under the handle Shan, VeChain's dual token structure is one of its most underappreciated design features. VET functions as the store of value and staking asset, while Vtho is the gas token used to pay for every transaction on the network. Holding VET generates Vtho automatically, but under Stargate, Delegation now determines how much Vtho you actually earn in bonus rewards. My original take here: the new node tiers are not just an accessibility feature, they are a deliberate network decentralization strategy. When you lower the cost of meaningful participation, you spread stake across more wallets, which makes the network harder to attack or concentrate. VeChain is building validator diversity at the same time as it cuts emissions. That is two problems solved with one design choice. Let's be direct about something. There are hundreds of Layer 1 blockchains. Most of them are solutions looking for problems. VeChain is the opposite. According to Dow & Shan India's community breakdown, VeChain's enterprise adoption includes Media Group analyst reviewing business adoption charts, infographic of enterprise blockchain adoption on computer screen, stock and distribute equally, Walmart China using the network for food safety tracking, BMW deploying it for vehicle data and maintenance records, and both DNV and PwC using it for product verification and auditing. These are not speculative partnerships. They are live, operational deployments on a blockchain that processes up to 10,000 transactions per second. The VBetterDAO ecosystem, which sits on top of VeChain, now has more than 5.2 million wallets, earning weekly B3TR rewards, with users completing over 48 million verified actions across 50+ live applications. That is real on-chain activity, not wash trading, not bot volume, verified human actions. When I look at a blockchain with those real-world anchors and then look at a market cap sitting at just over $610 million, ranked 72nd by CoinGecko, I start asking serious questions about whether the market has correctly priced the gap between adoption and valuation. Hold up. If this breakdown is landing different from the usual VeChain content you've seen, tap that like button right now. It genuinely tells the algorithm this video is worth showing to more people. And if TJ Crypto World is new to you, subscribe and hit that notification bell. We do this kind of analysis every week, and you do not want to be catching up late. Alright, let's talk price. Here is the honest picture. VET is currently trading at approximately $0.007107, a 0.71% gain in the past 24 hours at the time of reporting. Year to date, the token is down 36.64%. Over 90 days, it is down 44.76%. That is a painful chart for anyone holding, but let's read it properly instead of emotionally. The price is currently consolidating in a range between roughly $0.00665 and $0.00745. The RSI sits at around 55, not overbought, not oversold, sitting in neutral territory. That means the market has not made up its mind yet. And when markets are undecided, the next catalyst tends to move price sharply in whichever direction it breaks. 50-period EMA at around 0.007040 is the first level VET needs to clear convincingly. Above that, the 100 and 200-day EMAs sit significantly higher and represent the true resistance zone for any medium-term recovery. The longer-term trend remains bearish based purely on EMA positioning. That is the honest read, and I will not sugarcoat it. But here is the context most analysis skips. VET's all-time high was 0.2782. It is currently trading near 0.007. The gap between what this network demonstrably does in the real world and where the price sits right now is one of the more extreme disconnects I have seen in crypto. Whether that resolves upward or continues downward depends heavily on the broader market cycle, but the foundation being laid through Stargate, emissions reduction, and real enterprise deployment is not nothing. Before we close, this is not financial advice. I am not a licensed financial advisor. Everything in this video is for educational and informational purposes only. Do your own research. Make your own decisions. Your capital, your responsibility. Alright family, that is the full VeChain Stargate breakdown. 3 months of post-Hayabusa fork data, a 50% emissions cut, a 94% surge in active stakers, and a project that Walmart and BMW are actually using in production right now. Whether VET is in your portfolio or on your watch list, the structural changes happening inside this network deserve your attention. And now you have the full picture. If you made it to this point, you are exactly the kind of viewer this channel exists for, someone who wants depth, not noise. Drop a comment and tell me, are you holding VET, watching from the sidelines, or completely sleeping on this one? I genuinely want to know where the TJ Crypto World community stands. Like the video if it delivered, subscribe if you are not already locked in, and there is another video on this channel sitting right on your screen that you should watch next. directly to everything we just covered. I will see you in the next one. Stay sharp, stay curious, go na in TJ Crypto World out.